day traders, Raghee here. I'm going to walk you through a really simple day trade, the kind that we look for in the Sector Secrets Mastery every morning. And this is the RTY. So if you're looking at the RTY, IWM is the ETF that you'll be looking at. You can play the RTY futures. You can play the micros. This is the setup. We woke up this morning to a pre-market downtrend and a lot of heaviness in the Russell. And then right on the bell, we get these large candles with a lot of volume printing, and it rallied right up into the resistance of the hourly price movement range. This is an automated zone that I use that tracks historical volatility, and it tracks it down to the hour. So this was the 9 to 10 o'clock hourly price movement range, or hourly volatility range. Say that 3 times fast. All right, so we end up with, you can see here on the side, this was the notes. This was a setup for the puts that we were trading, the 238 puts, and that's what we bought into that resistance level at just after 940. I believe it's the 950 candle we finally got in at. So I set these up 5-10 minutes later. When price got to our level, we bought it. This is the aggressive, moderate, conservative edge. That's what all these little descriptions mean. And at those specific points, we scale in. So we know in front of the trade entry that we have possibly up to 3 entries, and we're going to be able to scale in, knowing that, some of our traders said, Rag, I want something closer to 2,400. I'm going to forego the aggro. Some folks said, Rag, I'm going to take the aggro, I'm going to forego the moderate and maybe focus on the conservative. When you have the levels available to you up in front, these are the kind of decisions you can make about how you want to scale into a trade, how much risk you want to put on the table. So long puts were triggered. The first target, as you can see here, we already have determined at the time of the setup, even before we get in, so everyone can be ready for the first scale out. That was 23.89. This represents, and it just happened to have represented, a 25% gain on premium, which I really like because my typical risk on premium is 25%. So that's a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio, where now we move the stop to break even, so that, for example, I spent $108 or $1.08 and $1.10 on the puts, which means my stop loss is going to be $1.05 if the option value reaches $1.05 or $1.03. So as long as the option doesn't drop back down to these 2 levels, that leaves my break even stop untouched. So we scale out once at 23.89. Now you'll notice there's a second scale out we put in at 10.29. Look how long we allowed this trade to keep working for us. Day trading doesn't mean get in, get out, get long, get short. Sometimes it just means short-term time frame and try to capitalize on a large move intraday. So we take a look at the movement lower. The second target was 23.82, which is right in about here. 23.82, and you'll notice this is where we hit the green zone of the hourly price movement range. So just like I got in at the red, this was the second target as we get into the green zone. Now, ultimately, this right here was a 100% gain on premium paid. The option was trading just over $2 at that point. And then what I'll tell traders to do is move the stop to T1. So we're locking in the 25% gain in case it rallies. And this is how I set up day trades morning after morning in the Sector Secrets Mastery. So whether you want to trade the RTY futures, mini or micro, or whether you want to trade the IWM ETF, in this case, we traded the puts up in this level. This is exactly the type of setups we use, automated levels, predetermined levels of entry and of exit, and that way you're not babysitting the charts. If you want to leave an expected price limit order, you can do that. If you want to place an alert and scale out when that alert is hit, also you can do that. But this is what we try to do every morning, try to find anywhere between 1 to 3 of these types of trades, minimal risk, and in this case we ended up risking 25% of the premium for ultimately just right around 100% of return on premium. And I'll do that every day if I can get that set up. So hope this helps with what we're doing. You can get a good look at the kind of tools that we use. And today, fantastic day in the